Hi, welcome back to the new video of Page Turners. Here is the slides on Chaucer, Life of Chaucer, Age of Chaucer, Stages in the Life of Chaucer, his works, major contemporaries of Chaucer, and a brief note on the Canterbury Tales. So let us go through it. Geoffrey Chaucer, known as the father of English poetry. He is the first poet of national importance. He is the greatest English poet of the medieval ages. He is an author, poet, philosopher, and alchemist. He has a career in civil service as a bureaucrat and courtier. He traveled to Flanders, France, Spain, and Ireland, observed the men, fashion, and manners that influenced for his literary creations. He born in London around 1343. The date and location remains unknown. He was the son of a wealthy merchant. He educated in St. Paul's Cathedral School, later at Inner Temple and learned law. In 1368 to 78, he became the courtier and civil servant. During his travels, influenced by the works of Dante, Boccaccio, and Froissart, he is the first man to use naked words. He is the first person to be buried in Poets' Corner, the Westminster Abbey of London. Chaucer's patron was John of Gaunt. Here is the three stages in Chaucer's life and the particular works in those stages. Three stages in Chaucer's life are the early period or the French stage. Second one, middle period or the Italian stage. Third one is the last period or the English stage. Now let us go through the works in early period or French stage. It is up to 1370. There is a translation of work Roman de la Rose and secondly the Book of Duchess. In Italian stage it is up to 1387. Important works of that period was The House of Fame, The Parliament of Fowls, Troilus and Cressida, The Legend of Good Women, Consolation of Philosophy. Among this, The Troilus and Cressida is the first novel in verse. Cressida is the first true psychological study of complex woman. Now, let us go through the last period or the English stage. It is after 1387. The English work is the Canterbury Tales. Now, these are some of the works of Chaucer. Nextly, style of writing of Chaucer. Gift of storytelling and descriptive power. He uses the musical elements. He is a humorist and humanist. He is the first writer to bring the atmosphere of romantic conditions of age. He shone the picture of contemporary life. He used Chaucerian rhyme meter. He realistically presented the social, economic, and religious conditions of that particular age. The characters are often selected after keen observation of men and women. Next, here are two quotes. These are not actually the quotes of Chaucer, but these are the quotes about Chaucer. Okay, first one, Chesterton about Chaucer. He told that, quote unquote, if Chaucer is the father of poetry, he is the grandfather of English fiction. Secondly, Albert calls Chaucer as, quote unquote, the earliest of the great moderns. Now, let us go through the age of Chaucer. The age of Chaucer is a period during the Middle English period. I already took a video on brief history of English language and the literary periods. You can go through that video also. Okay. Now I'm mentioning here only about the age of Chaucer or the 14th century literature. It was an era of transition. What are the peculiarities? Or now I'm going to tell about the characteristics of this time, the era of transition. Change from medieval to modern was a slow and imperceptible. Literature from oral to written. Value of self expression. Feudalism, chivalry, and church were on decline. English established as literary language by adapting, translating, and imitating of Greek and Latin texts. Secondly, the growth of nationalism. This age was remarkable for the growth of national spirit, striking awareness of unity of customs, temperaments, and language. French and English became the standard English. It was after the Anglo-Norman conquest. Influence of church was on the wave. In the reign of John, legislation was working to nurture the growth of national consciousness. The important event of this particular period was 100 Years of War. It extended from 1337 to 1453. It was fought between England and France. This war lasted for 116 years. This resulted in heavy taxation. And also finally to the Peasants Revolt. I will go through it, okay? Nextly, the Black Death and Famine. Black Death was a bubonic plague. Natural calamities increased sufferings of common people. Plague and famine wiped out one third of the population of England. The age of social unrest and economic troubles. Nextly, the Peasants' Revolt. It was on 1381. It was led by Wat Taylor. It is due to heavy burden of taxation. Laborers become unsatisfied with their salary. Efforts were made to keep the laborers under control with the help of legislation. This particular era, especially in Chaucer, who used the East Midland dialect. It was the dialect used in Oxford and Cambridge universities at that time. Also, this dialect used in the printing press. These all make a beauty to the particular period. The corruption of Catholic Church. Church was the seat of power, prestige, and influence. They lived in a godless and worldly ways in wealthy and luxury. Superstitions became social evil. Nextly, Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a priest who talked against the church corruptions. The only prose work or the first prose work of Middle English period is John Wycliffe's Bible translation. John Wycliffe was considered to be the morning star of Reformation, who understood about the corruptions of church and the exploitation of common men. So he decided to translate Bible from Latin and Greek to English, which is the common language of people, and so that they could understand and read Bible by their own and are understand about the corruption of church. Contemporaries of Chaucer. John Gower and William Langland was the two important contemporaries of Chaucer. The works of John Gower, Speculum Meditation, which is a French work, Vox Clamantis, Latin work, Confessio Amandis was an English work. Secondly, William Langland, his work is Piers the Plowman. It was a dream vision poem. It was actually about the clergy and its corruptions, or the struggles and virtues of common folks. The corruption of clergy and the struggles and virtues from the side of common people. Nextly, we can look to the English work of Chaucer, which is the Canterbury Tales. Even though there were no novels or drama in this particular age, means the age of Chaucer, Chaucer's work did plant the seeds for the development in succeeding Elizabethan age. The Canterbury Tales had been in prose and divided into scenes and act. It would have been the language's first drama. What here saying is that there was in Elizabethan period is the most important period of beginning of drama and playwriting. Just before Elizabethan age, it was the age of Chaucer. It was flourished with poetry, use of East Midland dialect, and they also started begin to write prose, but there was no drama or play mentioned. But some of the critics says that if Canterbury Tales is considered or written as a drama by Chaucer, the each tales in we know that it is the collection of 120 tales. The Canterbury Tales means it consists of 120 tales. So these 120 tales may be the scenes and acts of drama. Okay, I think it's clear. And a brief note on the Canterbury Tales. It was influenced from the work of Boccaccio. There was 29 pilgrims plus Chaucer going to the or they are in pilgrimage towards the tomb of St. Thomas Becket in Canterbury. They met at Tabard Inn at Southwark of London. The host of Tabard Inn was Harry Bailey, and he wanted each pilgrim should tell 4 stories at least. And what he decided was the person who tells the best story get free meal. It was the story. And this Canterbury Tales is the collection of all 120 tales, and in that Chaucer could only finish 24 stories before his death. Actually, Chaucer couldn't complete this. If by the words of Harry Bailey, there should be 120 tales, but Chaucer couldn't complete writing those. He decided for that, but unfortunately he couldn't complete. In that, 2 prose tales are there, and the remaining are verse tales. The 2 prose tales were the Parson's Tale, first one, secondly, Chaucer's Tale of Malibus. The remaining 22 verses tales, it is verses, okay. First tale is the Knight's Tale, and the last tale is the Parson's Tale. So total 24 tales. These slides are showing some of the characters in Canterbury Tales. Let me read that. The pardoner, the knight, the squire, actually squire is the son of knight, the monk, the friar, the summoner, the wife of Bath, the man of law, the shipman, the physician, the reeve, the franklin, the manciple, the miller, the cook, Chaucer, the parson, the nun's priest, the second nun, the prioress, the merchant, the clerk of Oxford. When we consider or read this poem, we can understood that Chaucer mainly give focus on the dressing, the embroideries in dress, the their fashions, the way they talk, their language, and also their character towards other person, whether they are chivalry, chivalrous, whether they are showing off like that, and also which or what type of horse they are carrying with, what are the table manners, how they are eating food, how they what are the food they eat, how they behave, how the master behave to the low class, or how the working class behave to their masters or businessmen, like that. This is all we already read in his writing style, that he is focusing mainly on, or he is keen observing on people and their manners of living, and this is a right example of such a writing. And I hope you understand this video very much. If you like the video, please like and give suggestions if you have any, and don't forget to share and subscribe my channel. If you click the bell icon, you can get my notification whenever I upload a new video. So thank you all. Let us meet with another video.